Liverpool Football Club are not messing around this summer. They've already spent 100 million euros on Jeremy Jacquet and Victor Munoz. And now it looks like they want to sign Bradley Barcola. Ben Jacobs has said that PSG want around 170 million euros, which is about 145 million pounds for the French winger. And it looks like Fabrizio Romano has said earlier today that they are leading the race and that Barcola is open to the move. Now, if you look at the team that played the last game of the season against Brentford, now it will be a Liverpool side that won't have Ekitike out for a long time. Probably around Christmas, maybe January, he'll be back. But in that team that featured against Brentford, they had Andy Robertson and they had Mo Salah. Two very influential people in the dressing room, winners, Liverpool legends. Now they are trying to rebuild. They've brought in the new centre-back. They've brought in the young Spanish winger. But if you add Bradley Barcola to this team, they could have a front line next season of Munoz or Ngamoa, Isak up front, Bradley Barcola when Ekitike is back fit, and Florian Wirtz in behind. Now, do you lot think that Liverpool will challenge for a Premier League title? Because I'm sitting here and I'm starting to think, defensively, I think they will be a lot more organised and a lot more difficult to break down under Iraola compared to what Arne Slot had them doing. Let's be real, they could have sacked him 3 months before the end of the season. There was an uproar in the Liverpool fan base coming off the back of a title-winning season. They did 400 million last year on Ekitike, on Frimpong, on Florian Wirtz, on Alexander Isak, and it didn't work out. Now they brought a new manager in with some new signings. I don't really think there is a huge amount of pressure on Liverpool going into the upcoming Premier League season, which is only about 29 days away, which, to be honest with you, is not a long time of age. Played in World Cups, won Champions Leagues, won league titles. A very, very, very techie winger who's got blistering pace. I didn't feature in the 11 a lot, but come off the bench in the World Cup for France. Look at the goal he scored against Senegal. It was only on the pitch a matter of minutes. I do think in the Premier League, when there is a lot of these teams that play low blocks, he may have to use a bit more of his creative side, because PSG are a very, very great attacking team with the likes of Dembele, Doué, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia. They've all got blistering pace. But in the Premier League, there is a lot more low blocks. However, I do think he has got more than enough technical ability to come into this league and score a lot of goals. The issue with the deal is this line right here. PSG value Barcola at 170 million euro, which is 145 million pounds. Liverpool have already held talks over Barcola, who is emerging as a leading target this summer. French winger also appreciated by Arsenal, but no approach yet. PSG value Barcola at 170 million euros and expect a high volume of interest. Liverpool would look to do a deal for less. I think 100 million euros, 85, maybe 90 million pounds, I think would be a decent deal for Liverpool. But 145, I do feel is a little bit on the steep side. But however, the market's the market right now. I do actually want to say quite easily win a lot of those games. Now, you look at the signings that they have made so far this summer, Jacquet and Victor Munoz. You add a Bradley Barcola into this at 170 million euros, right? You do 270 million euros on 3 players. You've got your 2 left wingers now. You've got Cody Gakpo can play anywhere along the front line. You've got Isak. I do think they are going to need to bring another striker in because of Ekitike's injury. I don't think Ekitike is going to be fit for a long time, which means Isak will be playing a lot unless you play Cody Gakpo as a false 9. But I do actually feel that Liverpool are a dark horse in this Premier League title race. And I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with what I'm going to say, because they're going to be like, well, hang on, how can they be a dark horse? They won the league 2 years ago. I don't think anyone really expects Liverpool to win the league this year. A lot of people are saying new manager, same as City new manager, same as Chelsea new manager. Everything looks like right now that it should be Arsenal's year to go again and build. But I think Liverpool are doing a lot of good business. You know, Jacquet will be a good buy for them. 60 million euros. You know, young 21-year-old centre-back who's just turned 21, a lot of experience. Playing in France for the likes of Rennes, for Stade Rennes. Big deal from Liverpool, which was, I think, was it last year they agreed the deal. They, of course, wanted Guéhi, but he went to City. But if they do get the likes of Bradley Barcola over the line, I think a lot of the business they've done is very much genius-esque, because no one really thought that Liverpool would go out and get Munoz and the young centre-back, and they're going out there and getting their marquee signing before August. So the Premier League season's only 2 or 3 weeks away. Actually, I think it's 29 days away, just over 4 weeks before we get underway. And Liverpool right now could have a settled team. I think their back four is going to be questioned. You've still got Alisson, you've still got Van Dijk. McAllister's situation I do think is very, very interesting. But Gravenberch, Szoboszlai's new deal, I do think there's a lot of things that Liverpool fans should be positive about. But I still think if they bring a striker in, another central midfielder, I back Liverpool to be right up there again next season. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like.
Anfield doesn't need a new winger. Anfield needs the winger. And right now, the name written on every whiteboard at the AXA training center belongs to a 23-year-old Frenchman wearing PSG's number. Bradley Barcola. 3 different newspapers ran 3 different numbers this week. The Times says £145 million. The Sun says £140 million. The Mirror says Liverpool could break the British transfer record to get it done. Whatever figure you believe, one thing is consistent across every single outlet: Liverpool are not backing away from this one. If anything, they're circling closer. Stick with me for the next 20 minutes, because this story has more layers than most transfer sagas you'll see this summer. A farewell from a legend, a teenager forcing his way into the plan, a European rival trying to jump the queue, and a French champion that genuinely doesn't want to sell. Let's get into it. Why this search even started. To understand why Liverpool are chasing Barcola, you have to go back to the moment that reshaped their entire forward line: Mohamed Salah's Anfield exit. 9 years, a legacy built goal by goal, medal by medal. And then it ended, not with anger, but with an emotional farewell message that told supporters his time on Merseyside was up. That single announcement did more to shape Liverpool's summer business than almost anything else on the continent. Because Salah wasn't just a right winger. He was the right winger. Replacing him was never going to be a like-for-like swap. It was going to require reshuffling the entire attacking picture. Arne Slot's dilemma became obvious almost overnight. Who covers that side of the pitch, who slots infield, and who eventually inherits the shirt that carried Liverpool for nearly a decade? That's the backdrop. Now let's talk about the man they've decided is the answer. WHO is Bradley Barcola, really? If you've only been half watching League One, here's the quick primer. Barcola came through the Lyon Academy, built his name as a direct, quick-footed left-sided attacker, and made the move to Paris Saint-Germain in a deal that, at the time, looked like a smart bit of business rather than a marquee signing. Under Luis Enrique, he grew into something far bigger than that. Last season alone, Barcola contributed 13 goals and 7 assists across 49 appearances in all competitions for PSG, numbers that hold up in a squad stacked with attacking talent. He's not the loudest name in that dressing room, and for a stretch of PSG's treble-winning campaign he found himself behind Kvicha Kvaratskhelia and Desiree Doué in the pecking order for the biggest nights. But the ceiling has never been in question. Pace to burn, comfortable cutting inside off the left, and still young enough that his best years haven't arrived yet. Contractually, he's entering the final 2 years of his PSG deal. That detail matters more than almost anything else in this saga, because it's the leverage point every suitor is circling. The money talk. Here's where the numbers start pulling in different directions. Reports out of France indicated Liverpool were readying an opening offer in the region of £85 million, an approach some outlets framed as Liverpool pivoting toward Barcola after learning that a rival target, Yan Diomande, was prioritizing a move to PSG rather than away from it. That's the domino effect of the transfer market. One deal falling through often triggers 3 others. But PSG's response has been consistent: not for that price. The valuation being floated by British newspapers now sits closer to £140 to £145 million, a figure PSG believe reflects both his output and his importance to Luis Enrique's rotation. That's not a discount price for a squad player. That's the number you attach to someone you consider close to untouchable. So where does that leave Liverpool? Somewhere in the uncomfortable middle. Genuinely interested, financially capable of stretching, but not yet at a number PSG are prepared to accept. The Arsenal angle. No transfer chase involving Liverpool this season is complete without checking what's happening 200 miles south, because Arsenal have been floated as suitors for almost every name on Liverpool's list, and Barcola is no exception. Sky Sports' Dharmesh Sheth pointed out something worth remembering here. After missing out on Morgan Rogers, Arsenal are reportedly shifting attention toward PSG's winger as an alternative route to strengthening out wide. That's where David Ornstein's comments become genuinely useful, cutting through the noise. Asked directly about Arsenal's interest, Ornstein was careful with his wording. Barcola's name has come up in conversation, but as of now, there's no indication of Arsenal making an active move. That's a meaningfully different situation from Liverpool, who've already gone as far as opening club-to-club dialogue with PSG. Translation for anyone keeping score: Liverpool are ahead in the actual groundwork. Arsenal are, for now, a name in the background rather than a party actively negotiating. The third-party threat. Barcola's stock isn't just rising in England. Bayern Munich have already had an approach knocked back this summer, according to multiple reports, and there's a separate storyline worth flagging. Talk of Barcelona entering the picture after their La Liga title, as they look to add depth capable of pushing them further in the Champions League. None of those clubs appear as advanced as Liverpool right now, but transfer windows have a habit of rewarding whoever moves fastest once a player becomes available, not necessarily whoever started the conversation first.